I taught myself how to play the Bodhran about 2 years ago. I taught myself using a stick I found in the backyard and a notebook and YouTube videos. I would not say I'm an expert in any means. It's probably the only instrument that ever felt really supernatural. No, it fit me really naturally. I really enjoy playing the drum. It's a great way to explore rhythms. Since I've started learning, I started learning by just like, some basic rhythms. And then I found out triplets on my own. I was just like playing along, and then sometimes a little grace note would come in, and I'm just like, I wonder if that's a thing, and it is. Eventually, I saw some Bodhran players manipulating the skin, and so I learned how to do that. Now what you're about to see is just me kind of working around with it. I'm basically giving you a look into what it's like to sit and practice and record yourself. I am giving you the privilege to have a glimpse into my life. That's what I'm doing. That's what vlogs are, really. I am offering a little snippet of my life to you. This happens to be music. So here we go. Ooh. Now you see, here, I was sitting talking and not working with the skin, and it started to dry. So now it's really high pitch. You don't want it to be that tight. Treating the skin. Now some people will have tunable drums and that'll have an extra ring on the inside. I have a non-tunable drum, so I have to work with the skin and humidity and stuff like that. It's a little more work to deal with, but I like it because it almost helps me form a bond with my drum. That, and I'm cheap and couldn't afford a bigger one. I'm poor. This skin is real goat skin. A goat donated his epidermis so that I could play music for you. We want to treat it like, we would our skin, but you're not going to put on scented, oily stuff. So what I first used was saddle soap. I use sponges, cold water, and I dampen the skin. I'm going to dampen the back of the skin, so what I do is I just take the sponge and I just drizzle it in there. Now, for the longest time, I would wipe it in with the sponge and wonder why it wasn't going very well. Because when I squeeze it out of the sponge and I put the sponge right back in it, it sucks it back up again. So I squeeze it in using the sponge, because I can control better how much it goes in. But then I rub it in with my hand. The other reason why you treat it, your drum, is so that it can better withstand your blows. You see, if you can already kind of hear it might be a little bit lower. Oh, nope, never mind. Sometimes I'll dampen the front of the drum, but I've also heard you don't want to get it in this little part right here. That's probably because this is where the skin is attached, so you really don't want to mess around with that. Otherwise, you might not have a drum anymore. Sad day. I do like using the sponge because it helps me make it even. See how we're doing? Yeah, see, now it's already a little bit lower. And it's still kind of wet on the backside, so I know it hasn't fully dried in. So now I'm just going to go through some of the rhythms. When I play, I do move my arm quite a bit, but I learned it's a lot in the wrist. Now, I think one of the reasons why I find this instrument easy is that before learning it, I had been doing fencing. In fencing, there's a lot of wrist control. It helped me to learn how to keep my fingers tense because I had to hold on to the sword, but at the same time my wrist loose. One of the first things you learn is just the strokes, and it's just like shaking your wrist like this to get some of the rhythms. You miss a stroke, so one of the ones is down, down, up, up, down. See, I'm still making the motions because it's down, down. I don't go down, down. It's like down, down, up, up, down. I think I've given you basically all of the tips and things I know about the Bodhran. Once again, I am no expert. I'm just a kid and her drum. But also to let out some frustration and anger. You could say naughty words or just play a drum. I prefer playing the drum. That's probably because that's where the skin's attached, and I don't want to funk around with that. Also, I said funk. I'm gonna redo that part. Hits because when you're doing it on a notebook, you hit yourself, and it's kind of painful when you're going fast. So I can... Gotta be all tight and loose at the same time. If anybody gets that reference, you get like 10 brownie points from me. All 5 of you that watch this video. I have dreams of becoming a famous YouTuber. They probably won't happen.